Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
I want to unify. Is he up for the challenge? Like I said, I declare war. You know, this is not a battle, this is war because I was born in this.
Why am I sitting here like a spare dick away? While you are sitting in your mum's spare rooms, just tickling your bollocks.
Come and see me, baby. No more hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
I'm through. Hey, put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Negative. I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
Fucking was too fast. But it wasn't so much about it, was just that he was so fucking fast. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Fucking amazingly fast. I was like, I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast form, iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. Find us, mixedcombatradio.com, as well on our new renovated website. Another air horns for that. Because that new website's amazing. Go check it out. But of course, we're going to talk all things boxing today. Wilder Ortiz news, card info. Obviously breaking down all of the weekend's fights. A lot to get to and break down. I'm not going to be long-winded. You can find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. I am Matt, the Hipster Hunter. But digressing, I'm joined by a full panel here today. Yes. Full panel. Shocking, I know. But first, I'm going to head over to the UK. The one and only, the second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how you doing, man?
All good. A lovely, wet, drizzly, shitty, rainy week in the UK. June, summer's here. But yeah, all good otherwise, you know. But Fugatti, how you doing, man?
It's all good over here. Ready to talk about these great cards we have this weekend. We had some really good fights, but maybe not some great cards, but some really good individual fights to talk about. And obviously some news. So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. First, obviously, let's get into the Wilder Ortiz information, because obviously that's just a big fight, and no disrespect to any of the fighters fighting this weekend, but Wilder Ortiz 2 is bigger than any of the fights happening this weekend, so we're going to talk about that first. Tim Smith was on the PPC podcast. I think it was either today or yesterday. I forget. Yesterday. And he had some things to say about, obviously, the Wilder Ortiz fight and the date of it. And let's listen to what he had to say by way of the PBC podcast as I pull up the audio here.
Obviously, you mentioned Deontay Wilder defending his title against Luis Ortiz. Do we have any update as far as the date and venue for that fight?
Don't have a specific date yet, but I know it's going to be in November. And as to where it could be, you know, come on. I mean, you guys know where super fights go. I mean, there are probably 3 prime locations that it could go: Barclays Center, Las Vegas, or LA, Staples Center. So, either one of those 3, I think, would be the target for something.
I don't think this is really shocking in any way, at least.
Wait.
What?
He said super fight. Anyway, carry
on. Big fights, not super fights, but big fights get made in, generally speaking, the big markets. And those 3, especially in boxing, include Vegas with LA and New York. And LA and New York are just, generally speaking, big markets in just entertainment, period. Also, the November slot, not really surprising either. I know, obviously, the date that was first talked about was September. But it seems like they pushed back all of the pay-per-views for some reason. Like, Spence Porter is being pushed back. It seems like even like Danny Garcia versus Mike Garcia might get pushed back at least like a month. So do we get a staggered sort of schedule instead of what we first thought was the August, September sort of rollout with all these pay-per-views instead of more of a September, October, November rollout with all of these pay-per-views? But I'm not upset with this at all. Obviously, I'm more upset with just it being pay-per-view. The date's fine. I think it would benefit, obviously, from the NFL scheduling, even though this would probably be a Showtime pay-per-view, even though there's been some whispers of a Fox pay-per-view swinging in here. It's everyone that is in the know is saying, no, this is going to be Showtime, and even the Fury fight's going to be Showtime pay-per-view. But I think they're still going to benefit off of just the Fox promotion of just PBC shows during the NFL season. When historically for the UFC, when they had their Fox deal, they always had their best numbers was in that fall season because of the NFL sort of bleed over effect. Fu, your thoughts on this information from Tim Smith of PBC?
Yeah, I think I'm not a fan of this being pay-per-view. I would much rather this be free to the public. To me, it's kind of like, obviously Joshua has taken a loss now. So he's like obviously not as big as in the negotiations as he would have been with an undefeated record. However, I can't imagine these numbers are going to be good. It's going to put Wilder in a weird negotiating spot with other fighters. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it being pay-per-view.
I don't think it's going to be an issue for negotiation at all, especially when we look at the guys we'll be talking about. First off, the Fury fight's already done, right? So he has that lined up. Secondly, Fury's fight on ESPN Plus.
Is the Fury fight done?
Yes.
Okay. It's signed, everything.
I think there's an agreement in place. I don't know if the contracts are actually signed and sealed and delivered.
If we have both parties saying the fight's done, the fight's done, right? If it would be very different if, let's say, Wilder came out the announcement and Bob Arum never confirmed it, right? Like, it would be different if that was the case. Bob Arum has confirmed it. He talked about it yesterday being a dual network.
Yeah,
exact quote was shared network, I believe.
Yeah. But he said like it's all kind of agreed, about the shared network. So whether contracts are actually signed, but I think it's not that I'm like, but contracts haven't been signed. It's like, it's happening. Yeah. So
and again, and to Fu's point about negotiation for this, if these pay-per-view buys aren't good, which I don't think they're going to be great. Let's be honest. I don't think we're going to hit Crawford Khan numbers or Triple G Lemieux numbers.
Wow, you don't think it'll get that many?
I think it'll do above that, but not significantly. So, Robbie, like I just didn't address you, just kept moving on. You fucking bastard. And again, his competitors are like, if you're AJ, you're busy right now. You got Ruiz to deal with. Maybe that ends up being a trilogy, and you're fighting on an app. And Fury's fighting on an app, and that fight's already done, in a sense, air quotes. So Wilder's fine here regardless of the numbers. I think Wilder's actually in a really good space here, both from just him and his team angling for things, and also just the circumstance of the division. Fury picking Tom fucking Schwartz, which we're going to get to, and fight on ESPN Plus has hurt him. AJ losing to Andy Ruiz has obviously hurt AJ. And in the meantime, Wilder has sort of stayed course, and in the meantime got a highlight reel knockout that went viral. So I think Wilder's fine here, regardless of the pay-per-view numbers doing 200,000 buys, 250. That they're still going to be fine at the end of the day.
I think he's going to be fine, using Joshua's the biggest fight of the year, Joshua Ruiz, which is looking like November as well. Getting a little bit of shine off the Joshua card. Hashtag still the A side. Hashtag I know I'm going to get called all kinds of shit in the comments. But no, it was rumored to be September, and now the Ruiz situation's happened. They've all come out and said, immediate rematch, November. And now Tim Smith telling us that Wilder's going to be fighting again in November. But
I don't know if the AJ Ruiz thing is as much of a factor as to the date being moved as you think. But carry on. Sorry.
Well,
I think maybe the Canelo Triple G fight is actually more of a thing that people are worried about.
But that's not pay-per-view, so they're not like clashing on big money or anything like, you know what I mean?
But again, I don't think it really matters. Like, entertainment's entertainment. Like, drawing the attention from the boxing and sports public is a binary thing, regardless of your medium. It's a binary thing. It takes the two parties, your promoter network or stream in the app, and the consumer. And there needs to be a connection there, regardless of that medium of connection. And I think a Canelo Triple G fight, especially when you look at Canelo's numbers with Jacobs, I think would do insane numbers for DAZN. Like, really great numbers. I think that there's a reason why all of the PBC pay-per-views moved away from that date. I think that's the reason why. That's, again, purely my opinion.
Yeah, each to their own. I don't know. It's just strange that the biggest fight of the year potentially is going to be Joshua Ruiz, and now Wilder's fighting in that same month. I don't know. I just think, is it a coincidence? Is it not? I don't know. But they've done the whole announcement during fight week for Joshua Ruiz. The first fight, it came out Ortiz and the Fury thing, as if to say, this is what I'm lining up. You go on and win this, and you've got no big fights. There's no big fights out there for you because I've got them all lined up. And then Joshua loses, and Wilder's now got to get through Ortiz and Fury, which potentially he could lose to Ortiz. And on a lot of people's minds, he already lost to Fury. So is Fury going to do it again, or at least get the judge's decision this time? So, not that I'm not saying this is all completely backfired on Wilder and he's ruined because he's the one with a bout. Joshua hasn't got any. But it's just kind of how things turn out. It's just crazy, Everyone expected Joshua to.
Yeah, hit him with that.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's okay. Breathe. It's okay, Rob.
Know what's happening.
You're getting PTSD moments right here. I can tell. Like, you're seeing the fight again in your mind. It's okay, Rob. AJ's okay. He's not hurt.
I'm just saying, it's funny.
Why do I feel this way? What's going on?
Like in is it Rocky 2 when he's having like those flashbacks of the fight when he's having the eye injury shit? Like, that was Rob right there trying to talk about all this and try to talk it through. It's like, oh, it's okay, Rob.
I'm just saying, it's funny how things work out. That seemed to be the plan for Wilder. Like I'm taking all the big fights you could possibly have away from me. I'm having them. I'm building my thing. I'm doing my thing. And then Joshua lost anyway, and he's still going to have the big fight, but it's in a rematch trying to win his titles back. It's just crazy how things pan out and how
of course. Like in theory, if he didn't have the Fury fight signed up, we could have a Ruiz let's be honest, Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder complete unification, undisputed fight, first half of 2020, if Ruiz got past AJ in the rematch. Which, by the way, I'm going to have an article out about on Friday. I think Friday is when it should be done. I've gone back and seen far too many fights and done far too much research and ignored my son for the last few days to do this article. But it should be really fun talking about rematches in boxing history and how that might infer something about AJ. And even because you're talking about Wilder Ortiz, even Wilder Ortiz, honestly, like it's the same issue in a sense. But digressing from that point, Fu, I feel like I cut you off really early in your points, so I want to go back to you and talk about Wilder Ortiz and let you sort of have the floor because I did cut you off early.
Oh, I think, I said it before. Wilder is going to win this fight quickly. Ortiz, I feel like the first fight he had a moment in the 7th round and then he got completely obliterated. His next 2 fights, he hasn't looked good. And let's face it, Wilder's getting better every fight. His punches looked, mean, like, obviously, you can't draw a ton from like a Brazil fight, but his punches did look to be more compact. His straight punches, obviously, when he punches straight, it's amazing. I think that this fight's going to end quickly. I don't think that Ortiz is going to do anything in this fight. And there's zero chance Ortiz beats Wilder. And
zero chance.
I think also that is Ruiz making a play to get a Wilder fight and not take a Joshua rematch? Because did you see his team coming out and saying they wanted Wilder and that they would beat Wilder?
Well, I mean, he can angle for it, but there's nothing he could do.
Yeah. But I mean, is there any chance in your guys' mind that they just skip the Joshua rematch?
No.
No. You think they for sure take that?
No, he would probably get sued. There's a contract. You sign a paper, and this is a multi-million-dollar contract. Yeah, you're getting sued.
That's true. Yeah, it just was weird that they even started talking about Wilder as a team. Unless it's just some like...
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Like, it's like with Gary talking about like, oh, how dare Loma talk past Campbell. Guys, fighters can talk past other fighters. Like, that's okay. Especially these top guys.
Yeah.
They can look 2 or 3 fights down the line and think about their brand and shit like that. It's okay, guys. Like,
plus, when you just beat Joshua so badly, I mean, he's probably looking past Joshua in a rematch. Like, what's the point, right?
That's true. I mean, look how bad Joshua looked, man. Exposed, right? Like, complete bum. We all know Dylan White's now the best UK heavyweight.
This is great banter. It really is.
Again, PTSD moment over there, Rob. It's okay. Take the CBD.
You just had a little touch of it, bringing back your Gary argument from last night.
Oh God, that was rough. Gary, I love you, man. You better call in today. There
was like mic grabbing and everything. There was the stops.
It was rough. It was a long call too. It just spiraled out of control. And it was about Loma, so you're gonna love it, Fu. It's about Loma Lopez specifically, so you're really gonna love it. Guy, I assume you didn't listen to the show yesterday.
/ Campbell.
I did, just not the calls. I didn't get to the calls.
Ooh, I was half right. Anyways, moving on, but still connected to this Wilder card, potentially. Mike Coppinger saying sources tell The Athletic, which I gotta say, Mike, before I get into this tweet, how was this not in the live chat you had like that day or the same day or the day before, whatever, when I pay for that shit? I want all of your scoops to be behind a paywall because I pay for that paywall, okay? I'm going to be entitled now. So, Mike, please, come on, do me a solid here. But Mike saying sources tell The Athletic that David Benavidez and Anthony Dirrell are set to fight in late September in L.A. Benavidez will look to reclaim the 168-pound strap that he lost when he tested positive for cocaine last year. Benavidez at 22, one of the fastest rising stars in boxing. However, while I say it's connected to Wilder Ortiz, commentator adds, Benavidez and Dirrell fight under PPV banner, and it's possible the fight will land on Wilder Ortiz undercard. Dirrell won out, blah, 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 Vani Yerdum, bullshit. Guys, would we rather, because I think we can all sort of agree this is a decent fight. Like, Benavidez has sort of struggled to get back into the rhythm of fighting since his suspension for cocaine, and I think this is a decent level opponent. Anthony Dirrell, whatever you want to say about him, is still arguably a top 10 guy at this division. It's just that the division isn't as talent-filled as it used to be. So I'm okay with the matchup. Would we rather see this matchup as, let's say, a Fox main event, a FS1 main event, or would we like to see this pay-per-view that me and Fu have to pay for and Rob you get for free on ITV, I'm assuming, ITV4 or something like that?
Maybe Sky, they got the last Wilder fight.
Oh, so. Yeah, that's right. Maybe Sky. But digressing, would we rather see this fight on a pay-per-view card to strengthen it, or be its own main event on a free Fox card? Fu, I'll go to you first since you're in the U.S. market more, and this question is more for a U.S. market person. What would you prefer for like this fight to land on?
I always want to see the free fights because I hate the sport putting itself behind paywalls all the time and not being able to really grow a bigger audience. But if I had to have it and I'm already paying for something, I'd rather see it on a card to strengthen it. If I'm already paying for a pay-per-view, this is a really good fight. And I love seeing Benavidez. He looked great in his last fight. I think realistically, he's probably still the number one guy, or damn close to the number one guy even after.
Yeah, it's probably top 3.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I like to see him get back in a rhythm, and I'd like to see that division really take off. So there's a lot of good fights to be made there. So it's a good for strengthening a pay-per-view card if I have to pay for a card.
I felt like Fu kind of sat on the fence there. It's in his bio on our YouTube page, so that's kind of assuming. It's assumed, right?
I'm just saying if we're paying for it anyways, throw it on there and give us another good
Okay,
fight
there we
to
go.
watch.
Make a fucking decisive decision
Yeah.
there about what your opinion is. Rob, I know you're getting it for free, so it doesn't really have the same effect for you, probably.
No, but if it is on the Wilder Ortiz card and it is in November, then I think this fight should be before that. Benavidez has been out. He needs to get back into the mix, and having to wait from when did he last fight? It wasn't. What card was that on?
It's been a while.
Spence. Was it on the Spence Garcia undercard?
Maybe.
I think it was.
Maybe.
Was Neri on it as well?
I'll look it up really fast. I'll look up. You can talk.
It was. So that was like what? March? Was it March?
February, March, something like that.
So yeah, then he's wait until November to fight again. I think that's kind of sucks. But interestingly, Mike said LA. It's like he knew the venue, and that would mean Matt Hunter credentialed for a Wilder, Ortiz, and Benavidez Dirrell.
By the way, it was March 16th, and it was the Spence undercard. He fought Jalen Love. That's right. Poor Jalen Love. That's right. God damn.
He got starched.
That was bad. That was rough.
Yeah. So, but as far as when you're paying money for something, too often, whether it's over here or over there, you get the main event, and that's it. The rest of the card is pretty. You maybe get one more that you're like, oh, there's one guy, but he's in a bit of a soft touch or tune up or a showcase or something. But the names are there, but they're not in, competitive sort of fights. As much as it's good to see, you get like we had the Callum Smith and Ndam, right? It was like great to see. Oh, Callum Smith looked great. There's that, but it was against Ndam. It wasn't going to be competitive, So to get decent fights on the cut, thing is, the reason these fights are going on to pay-per-view is to pay the main event their purses and to make their money. So they don't really, I guess, want to be splitting up, giving someone like, I don't know, Benavidez like a million or, the money. So you start stacking these cards up, the money soon having to get broken down.
Is there a connection issue, or is it like your cord is not fully in, or am I imagining that like there's a crack every once in a while?
I don't know. You're the audio.
I am the audio whore. I am. But digressing. Chat, let me know if I'm just imagining that. And Fu, turn down your gain just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Thank you. Sorry. Because he just doesn't read the jokes.
You're paying your money, you want to get value for your money because. And it was funny because Tim Smith on that same podcast saying it was when they started putting, boxing it went from like free TV, then it went to like cable subscription or premium networks or whatever. And then they started putting big fights on behind another paywall. And that's what he believes drove or made fans say, fuck that, I'm not paying. I'm already paying for my Showtime on my HBO. Now you want $75, and he said, I think that turned a lot of people off. And this is the same guy at the PBC that's virtually doing a pay-per-view every month. So I don't know. But these fighters have got to get paid, and they obviously can't just keep dipping into the funds, the money that's there for these big fights or whatever, and they've got to make their money up with pay-per-view. So.
I agree. At least, let's say, Wilder Ortiz isn't Crawford Khan. But quickly, Rob, can you just bounce out and jump back in? I think it's you. And when you're out, make sure like your cords are all the way like plugged in and shit. I'm sorry. Hey, mute yourself before you do all that. So loud. But MB in the chat saying, I just thought it was food passing wind. That was good. That was good, MB. I like that. Everyone with the jokes today. But moving on, since I don't think we really have much to say more about this topic, and we do have some fights to get to. Let's talk about this Tyson Fury card, Fu. God damn. I'm so upset by this, man. Like, I am livid, okay, that we have to watch a Tyson Fury Tom Schwartz fight. Santiago saying Blog Talk is not working either. All right, so if Blog Talk's not working, guys, call in via Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. I think Blog Talk has been working for like the last few days. Sorry about that. But Rob, how you doing, man? You back?
I don't know. Am I? You tell me.
Yeah, you sound bad.
I sound exactly the same as I did.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't like a sustaining issue. It was like every once in a while. But digressing. Fury Schwartz, the fight of the century. In some parallel universe where Schwartz is actually like an elite guy and not some guy off the street, that his most notable fight was against Gashi. And Gashi is only known for losing every round to Chisora, like last year or whatever. Like, I so don't care about this fight. And the picture of them doing like the Charlie's Angel pose at either the weigh-in or the press conference, like that really sent me over the hill with this shit. Like, don't give me bullshit. B, don't sell me a bad product. And then on top of that, don't be corny selling it. Like, that just like, that makes it so much more of like a spiteful, like, oh, this is garbage, but you guys are going to watch it. And of course, I'm going to watch it because I'm a degenerate. I have to watch it. Plus, I get paid to talk about boxing. And honestly, I like the Sullivan Barrera Jesse Hart fight. I think that's a decent matchup. It's a crossroads fight, and it makes sense for both guys. It's competitive. But Fury Schwartz, we could actually see a Tyson Fury walk down Tom Schwartz and beat him up. That's how bad Tom Schwartz is. Okay? He should never be involved with any high-level boxer ever. Period. End of story. And the fact that it's now a main event on ESPN Plus, a subscription that I pay for, fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. Top Rank, you have had an entire year of bad matchups. An entire year. The only good matchup on the docket, honestly, other than maybe like Loma Campbell, is what? Ramirez Hooker. Right? Like, that's the really only good Top Rank matchup. And both fights only involved a single Top Rank fighter. An in-house Top Rank event is trash all the time now. I'm tired of it. Like, it needs to get better, because at some point I'm tired of Bob Arum getting in front of the media, high ass shit off that Vegas weed, and saying something to the effect that, oh, Fury Schwartz is going to deliver more subscribers to ESPN Plus than the UFC. Stop. No one wants to hear that, Bob.
Crawford Khan's going to do 1 million pay-per-views.
Bob Arum has spent the last 60 years saying outlandish, crazy shit with zero accountability, and now he's a senile old man doing it, and it's annoying. When it probably always was, and I just wasn't alive during the 60s and 70s, so, like, I didn't know. But, fuck, God. So fucking annoying. And Leonard, I know, like, Hooker Ramirez is on his own, but it's still a co-promoted Top-Rank fight. So I'm still giving them some like half credit for that matchup, regardless of it being on ESPN. I'm talking about Top Rank specifically here, and that could be separated from ESPN as a network. Because for example, like I don't mind the Warrington Galahad fight. That's a good fight. That's a Frank Warren card to me. That's not a Top Rank card. I know Top Rank facilitated the deal with ESPN and all that shit, so Top Rank's name is probably attached to it somehow. But that's a Frank Warren card. So that's a decent matchup. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with international cards overseas that are on the streaming app that I wouldn't see otherwise, like the two Maloney brothers from Australia fighting on ESPN Plus this weekend as well. I love seeing that. Give me that. Don't give me Fury Schwartz prime time in the U.S. Don't. Not worth my time. Fu. Sorry, Rob. Rob, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say, imagine have to pay pay-per-view for it.
Oh, that's right. Oh, my God.
Come on, guys. It's normal.
Oh, dear. Unbelievable. I'm not paying for it. I'm not interested in it. Schwartz is the same guy that looked like he didn't even want to fight Gashi. Gashi got all rough and getting in his face and was pushing him back. Gashi's like fucking 5'5" or some shit, and he was pushing Schwartz back. So I don't know. I'm not. Tyson Fury, in my opinion, could get a wilder highlight reel knockout in this fight. Can you imagine?
Or he won't, and he'll just dance around the ring and
it looks silly,
do boring shit, and it'll be like a nightmare, like 12 rounds of just boredom.
We could see No Mas Fury. This could be the new No Mas Chenko, the heavyweight version. He could make the guy quit like Safari did.
Oh, please
But
no.
This is I'm not bothered by this card at all. If anything, I'd rather be happy to tune in for Barrera and Jesse Hart, even though that's got an asterisk over it for me. Michaela Mayer.
Well, it's not really an asterisk. It's just not let's say, a fight that's going to lead to a champion in the division. You know what I mean? But like, it's a competitive fight between two top 15 guys.
Wow.
I'm okay with watching those.
Top 15 in different divisions, maybe.
True, yeah. But I think Jesse Hart's probably going to beat Barrera in this matchup and establish himself as probably a top 10 guy or top 15 guy at light heavyweight.
Wait, you're picking Jesse Hart?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you picking Barrera?
Yeah, probably would. Yeah.
Oh. Let's see what Gary picks.
Oh, God. It'll be a draw. Even though Barrera's kind of been saying, he's looking at retirement soon and things like that, or calling it a day. But this card's not of any interest to me, really. I'm sure we'll see Instagram and Twitter posts about it, but this hasn't got me OMG, I am so excited. It's none of that.
Whoa, that was heavy Tyson Fury. That was like the 350 plus pound smoking, doing cocaine Tyson Fury right there.
That was the exact point in when he made that soundbite.
Hold on, let's compare it. Hold on. I have it right here.
OMG, I am so excited.
Do yours again.
OMG, I am so. That's a bit of Bob Arum in there.
There's too much cigarettes in there. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much tobacco smoking in that one. But Fu, your thoughts? Fury Schwartz. I mean, you kind of said some things about it, but floor is yours, man. Rant.
Man, I feel like I'm just
going
to be the guy on the show that like everyone knows just hates heavyweight boxing, but like it's a shit matchup. Fury said something like, "I hope he chins me 3 or 4 times." Like really, like he thinks this guy is gonna be able to put some gloves on him. I just don't see. Like Fury to me he's just kind of like a joke. He's a great boxer. I don't mean that. If you're in the chat, it's not a matter of like Fury not being. He's the most talented boxer at heavyweight. Period. No questions asked.
Hold on, Fu. You went from that energy to, oh no, Fury is amazing TV.
No, what I mean is he's a clown. Like he just likes to be goofy all the time. Even with like the Charlie Angels like pose, and when he picked the other guy up and was like carrying him around on stage, and that stuff to me is just like, I don't want to see that. If you're boxing someone, I want to see there be tension. You're about to go to war with this person. Like have.
Tension again?
Like I don't want
Tension Nasukawa? That'd be a fun fight.
Yeah, there we go. But just a goofy guy troll that just is constantly just saying stupid shit about being the lineal champion and you got to beat him to be number 1, and it wears on me, where I just want to see him be more serious, get into a real mix of good fights, and for the heavyweight division to stop being such, like, obviously Ruiz like proved that we all thought that was a joke fight. He put it together, beat Joshua. Schwartz could do the same thing. Who knows? I just don't think that'll happen. I don't think Ortiz will beat Wilder, and I think that these fights just slow down like that momentum that we all felt like we were getting in this division.
I will push back slightly.
You know?
I don't think anyone was really making, at least in this space, like not necessarily MCR space, but just like in the actual boxing bubble, was really making 1-to-1 comparisons of AJ Ruiz and Fury Schwartz.
No,
like
definitely not.
No one was like it. These vastly different. Like I forget what word you used to describe the fight. I think it was like either like trash or clown, something like that. But like it's some sort of adjective like that. AJ Ruiz was not that. I just want to even before the fight when we thought AJ would still win, it was looked at vastly different than this fight.
The people who knew something knew Ruiz had.
This is the worst fight of the year.
Yeah.
Easily. This is the worst fight of the year. Without a doubt. Because not only is Fury regarded by some as the best heavyweight, but he's universally regarded as one of the best defensive boxers on the planet. And he's out there fighting top 100 fucking heavyweights. Like, that's trash. God.
He is the WBO Intercontinental Champion, Matt. He is number 2 with the WBO. I think you need to put a little bit of respect on his name.
You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit!
But moving on, because I don't think we can rant and shit on this fight anymore, honestly, unless you guys have other things to shit on.
Yeah, one thing. Fu said he's been going around saying to be number 1, you have to beat me, which is actually correct if you go by the Ring Magazine rankings, but not if you go by the Mixed Combat Radio rankings.
The Mixed Combat Radio rankings are better, honestly.
They are far better.
Far better.
Come on, without doubt.
Even though our number 1, I say our, let me air quote it, but got beat by.
He didn't. He didn't get beat.
He didn't. He does not have a loss.
You cannot still undefeated.
That's just.
I what I want.
I want to clear the air on one thing.
Whoa, hold on. I'm about to see Wilder fanboy Fu out here. I'm hyped.
No, but you can't say that, quote unquote, Wilder lost to Fury. Like, it's equally
fucking since it happened.
It's equal. I understand. Look, I had him.
This is great banter.
I had him losing on the scorecards.
Really?
But neither one has a loss against each other. Right? But Wilder fans who say, well, he should have been knocked out, so he beat Fury. Right? And then the Fury fans were like, oh, well, he should have won because obviously he put on a clinic. Neither one lost the fight. It was a draw. Like, you cannot sit there and claim one is over the other because of a draw.
Dare you?
I can sit here in my own fucking house and say what I want. This is my house.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
It's my house.
But that's a rubbish argument. You can't say he should have been knocked out. He didn't get knocked out. Or if he did, he still got up.
Just like
it's less of a rubbish argument to say that he has a loss because he has a draw.
Let me jump in here. Let me tag him. Just that is rubbish to say like, oh, he should have got knocked out. It is because he didn't. Just like it is rubbish to say that he beat Wilder because he didn't beat Wilder.
Should have got a decision because he clearly won the fight. That's fair enough.
No, that's your opinion that he clearly won the fight.
All right.
I didn't score it for Fury.
Yeah, because you are the show's Wilder fanboy. You are the one that makes him the number 1 heavyweight on our fucking website.
Because he is. Before AJ lost, AJ was number 1. AJ lost, and that changed the entire top 4 of the heavyweight division. It did. All of a sudden, Ruiz went from top 15, arguably, to top 5. He needed to be there. So, yeah, there was going to be a mix-up the week after that fight. And yes, the guy that is still champion the longest, that has some good wins, some credible wins against top 10 and top 15 opposition,
Oh
Yeah.
wait, name them. Name those top 10 and 15
Oh my God.
opponents.
You that guy in the comment section? It's easy. It's Luis Ortiz and Dominic Brazil.
Oh, the fucking ream of fucking endless names you just come out with.
Yeah.
The 2 fucking top 10 heavyweights on his resume.
Look, I'm not saying he has a better resume than AJ, but AJ lost, my homie. Like, it's okay.
No, I know.
And Fury, in my opinion, doesn't have a better resume. It's close. It's close, but that Klitschko win was so trash, in my opinion. Like, that was such a bad win. So, like, I don't count that the same way that, like, I count the AJ win over Klitschko. I count the AJ win over Klitschko far more, even though that was 2 years after, and Klitschko's coming off the loss. The way he did it was far more impressive.
Fury ended like the 12-year reign. Whether he'd done it in great fashion or what, he did it. He outboxed the guy.
That's true. He did it. And when he beat Klitschko, he was number 1 in the division. Then he went, a little bender, came out of that as fought Safaris and beaten that level of opposition and had a draw with Wilder. So can he really be number 1? No. AJ just lost. I'm not going to give it to Ruiz because I want to see the rematch first before I give him number 1 status. I can't do that personally. But hey, you know what, Rob? Like I've said, you are secretary of the ranking committee. So at any point, you can put in your rankings, and that could upset the apple cart because your scores, in a sense, would change the equation. Would change the tabulation of.
I'll log on now, have a little fiddle around, and see what I can do.
No, does not do that because you don't know how to do the website. Make your own list. I will adjust the score. Just Fu. You didn't make
fucking website goes down.
Fu, if you want, oh Jesus Christ, Fu, if you want to make your top 15 for each division, go for it, and I'll count yours as well. This is a very simple rule here, guys. This is how the committee works.
We already know there's no point me making my list now because there's 2 fucking Wilder fanboys gonna outvote me, isn't it?
And Rob's will be like Joshua number 1.
It would not. Come on.
Who would it be then? Who's your number 1 heavyweight then?
Fury.
Fury.
I'm not mad at Tyson Fury.
No, I am mad. He's beaten.
He doesn't have a belt.
Look who he's beaten since his comeback. It's been
you
no
stack
one.
Up the last 4 fights of Fury and last 4 fights of Wilder, it's not even close to level of competition.
Anyways,
Fine.
but yes, let's say Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight off a fucking draw. Yeah, woohoo. We got knocked down twice. Yeah. No, let him get a win. Let him actually get a win. And get a one that's relevant in 2019.
You can't say he lost. He got knocked down twice. That's not how.
I didn't say he lost.
He said he got. Well, you can't say.
I say he didn't win. He got knocked down twice, even. Like you can't say he won. You can't say he's the best heavyweight.
It's not how boxing works, though, is it? He got. I
love that. I'm now.
What do you mean that's not? What do you,
fanboy.
Hold on. What do you mean that's not how boxing works, Rob? If you don't win the big fight and you get knocked down that big fight numerous times, guess what? I'm not gonna count you as the guy now in the division. That's not how that works. That's exactly how fucking boxing works, Rob.
No, that's not how you like score boxing.
I didn't say that's how I scored the fight, Rob. Did I say that's how I scored the fight?
Uh-oh.
No.
Fire in the hole.
Jesus Christ, Rob. Go back to our fucking post-fight show. It's very easy. We went down it. We went down the scorecards, Rob. You remember that?
No, because you were working elsewhere at the time and I had already left.
No, we did a show.
You did a show.
No, we did a show. You're forgetting. Maybe it was a couple weeks after, but we definitely went down our scorecards on a show together, Rob. We definitely did that.
I can't remember, but
digressing, Fury ain't the number 1 heavyweight, and this fight is the worst fight on the entire schedule this year. The entire schedule. Worst fight of the year.
When you're the number 1 heavyweight, you can fight who you want.
That's why Wilder's fighting Ortiz on pay-per-view.
Gaz, shock. Wilder won. Schooling, Matt.
Yo, give him a round of applause for that comeback. Matt, that was great. That was a great comeback.
The funny part is I totally have just taken what Rob does and just reversed it on him because Rob makes that same flip all the time for jokes.
I don't know what happened. What happened?
That is the number one
Yeah,
heavyweight can
that's
do what he
why
wants. I'm
Wilder's
like,
fighting
yeah,
on
Wilder can't
pay-per-view.
do that. You do that flip all the time. I just swagger jacked you. It's okay.
I missed it.
It's all right. It's all right. But digressing though, Solomon Pereira, Jesse Hart, Rob. I think we might disagree a little bit there as well. I think Jesse Hart is the more varied boxer. I think he should fill out in this division better than 168, in my opinion. And like you said, Pereira has sort of stayed stagnant throughout his career. And on top of that, he has made mentions of hanging it up soon. So it just seems like Jesse Hart has a little bit more gas in the tank career-wise. And I do like his style more than I like Barrera's. So I'm picking Jesse Hart. But Rob, I'll go to you obviously first since you said Barrera is who you're going for. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just think he's the more seasoned guy at the division. He's been in, I want to say, in with, maybe bigger names. Maybe he's lost to them. Like who was it? Obviously Ward and Bivol, but he's been in some bigger fights, I think. But yeah, no, I just think he's more comfortable at the weight. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just concerned Jesse Hart moving up to the division, and I'm sure, like you say, he'll probably fill out fine. But I think Barrera might just edge it. Foo, as Matt's not even interested in being the A-mic right now.
I mean, the thing is, like you said, like Barrera is far more battle tested against better competition. Plus, he does have a style that could just like ignore what Jesse Hart does, and Jesse Hart has a way of not really optimizing his skill set. You know what I mean? Like Jesse Hart he's one of those guys like Lamont Peterson, where like you can tell the talent is there, but he doesn't really put it together in the right way at times. But man, Barrera's just one of those guys where you can never really count on him on the big fights. I feel like neither you can Jesse Hart either, to be honest, at this point in time. But that's why I like this fight. It's a crossroads fight. The winner of this fight is obviously still relevant. It still probably gets a big fight against one of the ESPN light heavyweight champions at this moment, which are most of them. The only one they don't have is Bivol, right? And I think the loser probably either not really retires, but maybe goes on the back burner, maybe goes off TV. I don't know, but if it's Jesse Hart losing, I can see him going off TV. If it's Barrera, I could see him retiring. Fu?
Yeah, I mean, Hart had the two really close fights, right, against Gilberto Ramirez recently.
Second fight was
and
more
I actually had him
definitive.
up in the second one, right? Or kind of at one point, didn't you? Was the first one you had him up before his arm got hurt, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Hart's obviously very talented, but he has this thing where, like, I don't know, he never finishes the job. Like he's up on the cards, but then he somehow loses to a man who only has one arm, letting him come back and take like all the late rounds, so Barrera's obviously got the experience, like Rob said, older fighter. I still am going to go for Hart in this because I think talent wise, he should be able to pull this out, and Barrera's older. But it's a kind of like a 50-50, like you said, crossroads fight. But I think Hart will take it. I think Barrera's, he's washed.
Yeah, it's a fun fight. I do like it. Michaela Mayer is also on the card against Elizabeth Crespo. She should win easy. Crespo has nothing on her resume of note, has never beaten anyone with any sort of decent resume, and has some key losses. Mayer should win this one in another sort of build-up fight for Mayer. And I'm ready for her to take the competition jump. She needs it. And honestly, I think lightweight is more open than what we previously thought. I think we all thought Katie Taylor was supremely above everyone in this division, and then Defon Posoon came in and just kind of erased that thought. I think the gap between Mayer and potentially some of these other top lightweights is not as far as, let's say, some of the people within Top Rank think, and that's why they're moving her so slow. I think they can start moving her far more rapidly in this division. Fu, I know you're a fan of Mayer. Your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, you like you said, easy matchup for Mayer. She should win this pretty easily. What I need really to see from Mayer is her not being so hittable. In her last few fights, she's really kind of taken some punishment. She's won them all, obviously, but she needs to really work on her defense. She's got good power. She's obviously very talented, but when she steps up in level of competition, she needs to be less hittable. She needs to work on like what Shields put on display against Hammer. Like, that was wonderful defense, and that's what we're not seeing out of like Katie Taylor. We didn't see that right there. Rob left us.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Rob. I'm not shitting on Taylor, bro. Come back.
That PTSD is real, man. I'm telling you.
Damn. I feel like I'm gonna turn like the resident UK hater, but I'm not. I'm just trying to be real with everyone.
Hey,
Taylor.
Look, I need someone else to be a UK hater to take the heat off my back. Sorry, UK guys in the chat. I love you. Nija, all of you guys, I love you, but I can't. What the hell is my light doing? Just turning on by itself. I think there's a fucking ghost in here.
Yeah, we need to see better defense. We need to see that out of Mayer. We need to see her to step up.
Oh, Rob, you blessed us with your presence. Where did you go?
Welcome back.
I don't even know. I tried to share Mayer's opponent's box rec picture, and it just made the hangout stop.
No, don't share that picture.
Have you seen it? God damn.
Like when somebody like tries to pose for like Tinder, but like it's in a crummy apartment and it's on a crummy phone, and
you're wearing boxing gloves,
and you know what? You're not pulling that pose off. Yep, and also the lighting's bad.
Wait, is this a Mayer pose?
No. Her opponent. Like,
oh, okay, I gotta see this.
It needs to be a professional photo there. But I'll be honest, a lot of box rec photos are trash. Yeah. I think they do that on purpose. And let's be honest, knowing a little bit about what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name?
I don't know.
Gray Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like he's kind of a character. They probably do that on purpose. They probably find the worst, weirdest pictures of people and make them the box rec profile picture. I'm just saying, because that's something I would do. But digressing, Mayer. I know Fu was saying a sonnet about her or something.
Yeah. It was a haiku.
It was a haiku.
Haikus
are classy.
Get the defense going. She's got the other stuff. Just work on the defense.
If anyone listened to Eddie Hearn's latest podcast, No Passion, was it No Passion, No Point? Katie Taylor actually mentioned Mayer's name. So Matt's laughing. Passing on information.
No, I just love the full-on plug, right, Fu? Come on, like
that was an absolute fantastic podcast. I am with Rob on that, but it is the plug. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like he went like, oh, not like just Eddie Hearn podcast. He was like, oh, the passion and the fury. Like he was like reading off like an ad that Eddie wrote him. It was great.
Sorry.
Whatever you said, I don't know what you said after that. Like you said like a tagline for like the podcast or whatever.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just
you mentioned where we got the information for the PBC podcast. Just say you're just showing your colors now.
Let me have a joke, Rob. Okay.
I'm just joking.
It's great banter, it really is. But digressing.
No point. Check it out, iTunes.
Hit the like button, share the show. Give a review.
Yeah, leave Eddie a 5-star review.
Leave my cousin a 5-star review. Digressing. Andy Vence is also on the undercard against Albert Bell. Whatever. But Andy Vence is a good prospect, so I do want to see what he's doing. He's sort of, I feel like, been under the radar recently. Always been under the radar, but more so recently. The rest of the undercard, you don't need to watch, guys. I'm helping you out. Like, if there's a crazy knockout, guess what? It's going to be on social media. Don't have to watch bad boxing. Don't. There's a lot of boxing on this weekend that we can watch. Don't have to watch some of these undercard fights.
There's a couple of, just so people know, Tyson Fury's sparring partners. I think it's Sonny Conto, who's apparently a good, decent amateur. But he's got a fight, and I think he's an Italian guy, I forget his name. And also Isaac Lowe, who seems to be going everywhere Fury goes. you get me a fight, I'll get you a fight on my card, kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, I won't be watching it. So good luck to all of them. I hope they all come out healthy.
Yep.
And yeah, hit me up if anything funny happens.
Yeah, because I won't be watching them. Couple other small cards of brief mention. I will make a Ring TV card on June 13th, which I believe was that tomorrow? That is tomorrow. That is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sinisa Estrada headlining. Always worth seeing her fight. Really talented female boxer. There's a ThompsonBoxing.com card with some guys I've honestly I don't think ever heard of. Just being honest about it.
These cards of note for everybody.
These are the small ones of note. Just want a quick mention. And there's a non-televised card, but it's a great hardcore name. Artem Dalikin, the WBA, I think, regular flyweight champion. Guys like 10-0, 12-0 phenom. He's fighting in Ukraine. The fight's on televised. Find a stream. If you can't find a stream, hit me up. I'll help you out. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But digressing back to cards more of note, ESPN Plus also on the same day as Tyson Fury, Schwartz Saturday, but obviously earlier in the day in the U.S., primetime in the U.K. Josh Warrington defending his title against his mandatory challenger, Kid Galahad, in probably the best fight of the weekend, right? I mean, that's a safe... Nah. Oh, that Dorta goes to Beatty fight. We'll get to that in a second. No, that's a good one. Come on. But Warrington Galahad at least has, I think, possibly the best name on it in Warrington. In terms of like pound for pound status. He's the top 30 pound for pound guy probably in Josh Warrington. I think this fight's going to be far easier than some are thinking, even Rob. I think Kid Galahad, while being a decent boxer all around, like one of those guys that is like a B in everything, like he is good in every category. But I see nothing special about him. I see nothing great. I see nothing that really elevates his game the way I do Warrington's aggression and cardio. That elevates his game when he doesn't have the power and other things to do it. I don't see Galahad having that yet. I think Warrington's going to overwhelm him with volume and pressure, as he always does, even potentially hurt him. But it should be a fun fight because Galahad is a guy that I think will be stuck in the pocket with Warrington and will have to exchange with him. And either he wins out that sort of firefight, and we find out Galahad's a better technical boxer in the pocket, has more power than we thought. Some other things we just don't know yet. I think Warrington's going to show out to just be a better guy. His level of competition in the last year has just been tremendous. I think he will continue that, beating Kid Galahad. Props to at least Warrington being one of the few guys in this division fighting really good competition. Shout out to him. Fun fight. Can't wait to see it. Rob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I just think Galahad is a lot better than you think, and I think he's going to make this potentially like tricky for Warrington.
I have a question for you because you've said that a lot. I don't think I've really asked you why you think that. Like, what do you see in Galahad that you think I don't see in him? If that's the best way to put it.
I just think he's technically
like he's really sound. Like you think he's more of like that Mikey Garcia type, or like that
kind of yeah. But
the fundamentals are just so clean.
Yeah, and I also feel like sometimes like he sort of boxes to the level of competition, and I think he's a very tricky customer. I think he's going to make it. I think this is going to be like a real different look for Warrington. But that being said, I just feel the only way Galahad does come away with this if he does cope with the pressure that Warrington's going to bring, and that's my only question mark over it: is can Galahad deal with that sort of onslaught and that relentless kind of come forward aggression? And if he can, I think he stands an outstanding chance because I think he is kind of the sleeper kind of in this fight that people are just like, oh, Warrington, yeah, he look how he done against Selby, look what he done to Frampton. But I think Galahad is especially pretty good defensively, and he's just going to make it awkward, I think.
It's not because he's cousin Eddie's fighter.
No.
I'll do anything to make that joke over and over again on this show. I hope you know that, Rob.
Right. People already think it.
Hey, it's okay. People think I'm a PPC Wilder fanboy. I mean, it might be true. Who knows? Fu, Warrington Galahad. Your thoughts? I think Rob. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your pick was still Warrington, but you think Galahad's gonna make a much tougher fight than what I think. But you're still picking Warrington.
I'll go.
Are you pulling a Fu? Get on that fence.
No, I'll say Warrington does come out on top.
Okay.
In a close points decision.
Okay. Fu, your thoughts? Warrington Galahad, your breakdown.
Warrington should dominate this fight for me. To me, Warrington is the number one for me at the weight class. I know we say Leo's probably more accomplished or is more accomplished.
More longevity.
I think Warrington, though, to me is the top 126 right now. I don't think Galahad's going to give him too much trouble. I mean, obviously Galahad has a lot going for him, but to me, Warrington's just, his pressure is amazing. We've seen it in all his most recent fights, just how he's just relentless, man. And Galahad has not looked good in his last probably 2 to 3 fights, really. So I think Warrington's going to win this by decision, maybe a late stoppage, but I think he'll take a clear decision against Galahad. And then hopefully we can see him in a fight against a Santa Cruz or Gary Russell Jr. or something, because I would love to see just how good Warrington really is against those other guys.
Agreed. I think maybe a Warrington Valdez fight's possible, obviously. Warrington. What? Why wouldn't you fought Frampton?
No, Valdez Frampton.
Well, I know that one's first in sort of the Barbarians. I'm just saying, on the foreseeable future, whatever down the line, the next 12 to 18 months, some names he could fight. Oscar Valdez is in that list, obviously.
Or a Frampton rematch when Frampton beats Valdez.
Oh my God, get out of here. Warrington was getting him hurt over and over again. I will give Valdez this. He is not the greatest boxer in the world, but he does have some power. I would be concerned about Frampton winning that fight. That's not an easy pick. Digressing though, do we have to talk about this undercard? Can we move on?
I mean, I don't think anyone's concerned with this undercard.
Rob,
do what you want.
If you want to talk about James Metcalf versus Jason Wilborn, Lyndon Arthur, who's a decent prospect at light heavyweight, versus some guy. There's some undefeated prospects I really haven't heard of. I'll be honest.
I mean, some Americans might remember the name Jason Wilborn. He fought Jarrett Hurd on the
Wilder Fury undercard.
That's right. Yeah, gave it a really good go while it lasted. He went over there 20 to 1 shot that he was or whatever, and done what a 20 to 1 shot should do. Go out and give it your all, and if you come up short, you can't have any regrets. But no, that should be a fun fight. Yeah, we can. If you've got other topics, we can move on quickly.
We do have obviously the World Boxing Super Series doubleheader, the cruiserweight semifinal. Yeah, semifinal. Mm-hmm. 2 really good fights, honestly. I think the quarterfinals were sort of fights that no one cared about, all tune-ups in sort of the wake of the Usyk destruction. These semifinal matchups, I think, are at least some good matchups to sort of clarify the sort of wreckage of the cruiserweight division post Usyk's departure of it. Breedis Kawaki, Dorticos, Tabiti. Those are 2 very solid fights. Dorticos versus Tabiti is going to be a fight where we finally, I think, find out how good Andrew Tabiti is. Because if he isn't that good, Dorticos might be the guy to just bulldoze him and beat him up in a way that could be really damaging. Breedis Kawaki is, I think, just a fun back-and-forth affair between 2 Eastern European fighters. Both guys really sneaky styles, too. I'm all in favor of both these fights. I think Benavidez pulls out the win. I think Tabiti pulls out the win slightly. But these are pick 'em fights, in my opinion. Like if any of you pick Kawaki and Dorticos, I'm not going to argue that at all.
Well, I'll maybe. I think there'll definitely be a knockout in the Dorticos Tabiti fight. I think there'll be a stoppage, and I might lean Dorticos in that one. And Benavidez, who arguably not beat Usyk, but could have got a draw in that World Boxing Super Series last time.
Definitely probably gave him his toughest fight.
Yeah, it was a real tight fight. I think if I remember, no, I think I even did give it a Benavidez by a round against Usyk. But that was
you did remember because you were on the whole like, oh, Usyk is trash because I thought Benavidez beat him for like a year and a half until Tony Bellew got iced, and then you finally stopped saying that. It was great. Just want to remind you.
Got iced despite being behind on the cards. Very good performance by Usyk.
He knocked out Tony Bellew cold.
So yeah, that's what I just said.
Yep, it's a great performance.
Thanks for repeating. But yeah, I'll go with Benavidez on this one over Glowacki. So yeah, Dorticos and Benavidez. Don't give a shit.
I'm gonna take Benavidez and then Tabiti. I think Tabiti is fantastic talent at the weight, with very fast hands, good power. So let's see. I think he'll beat Dorticos. I think he's got a good chance of winning the whole thing. But I said that when they first announced him in there, I was hoping that Tabiti would take the shot at getting into one of these things and proving how good he was. So I think it'll be a good card. These two fights are actually really good fights. Mm-hmm. So like I said, there's some good fights on some really bad cards, and these are two of the really good fights. So
yeah, even though like this tournament means absolutely nothing, honestly, like other than just anointing the best cruiserweight that isn't named Usyk and Murat Gassiev, these are really fun fights. And like similar to like a, not in the same way, not a 1-to-1 analog because it isn't, but like Barrera Hart, like that's a fun fight. Like that's a good matchup. It's competitive. Like I will always watch those. It's when the A-sides fight, borderline top 50 guys. It's when we have a bunch of no names on the undercard that I start tuning out, to be honest. But digressing, there's not really anything else on this card of note other than those two top fights. So definitely tune in to watch those on DAZN. It's over in Latvia, by the way, over in Benavidez's home country. He has a lot of pull, I feel like. His benefactors or oligarchs over there in Latvia have a lot of pull. The Boxing Super Series. Wasn't the Usyk Benavidez fight in Latvia too?
Yep, because Usyk won everything
and
from home, right?
Yep. Damn. Shout out to Benavidez, man, having that pull. Moving on, unless anyone else has any other points.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, perfect. Andy Ruiz coming out and saying a year ago, I wanted to leave boxing. I had no money. I'm kind of shocked by this in a way. Like I knew Ruiz was on hard times in a way because he wasn't getting really any big fights or any fights of note. And if your main job is boxing, not boxing, you're not getting paid. But it's just the feel good story that is Ruiz has just been awesome. Like it is truly the story of the year. The scene of him being in Mexico with that whole like red carpet scene. Fantastic. Like again, I know like for the UK fans that are upset or sad that AJ lost, I understand. That's your guy. But God, the feel good story that is Ruiz, I feel like is a silver lining in it. Even though like Fu has said in the past, like it does push us farther back in terms of a timetable for AJ Wilder, AJ Fury. But hey, we got a great story, a great fighter, an elite fighter out of it in Andy Ruiz. And now, honestly, arguably a superstar. Like, I am really curious to see what his numbers do in Mexico and the U.S. for his next fight. Like, I'm really curious, similar to Canelo Jacobs when you saw the Azteca numbers for the Jacobs card. I'm very curious to see what the AJ Ruiz Azteca numbers are for the rematch in November, December, whenever it is. But again, Ruiz, shout out to you for sticking through it, like having no money, wanting to leave boxing, like talking about having his dad like pull him out of houses that like he was getting into like bad shit. Like we could have missed a great fighter, unfortunately, and luckily we didn't. Luckily we did see a great fighter. We have seen it. Guys, any thoughts on this? I know it's not really a in-depth topic for us to debate on, but just wanted to make note of this.
I'm not trying to shit on anyone in the chat, but for everyone saying like Al Heyman provides, Andy Ruiz has been, wow, how long has he been with Al Heyman?
One fight.
No, is it just the one fight?
No,
it was Bob that had him before, right?
Two fights now, but yeah, it was Bob.
Two fights, yeah.
It took a fuck up by Gerald Miller for Andy Ruiz to get the big moment, on an Eddie Hearn card. So maybe Al Heyman wasn't
Stop.
money.
Look, guys, no, Fu. Like,
whoa, guys, what do you mean, guys? I didn't say shit.
No, I'm Fu and chat. Like, that's such an elementary, immature way of looking at this entire story. Honestly.
Hey, I'm gonna roll with the pigs in the mud.
No, like, be better, and chat, be better. Because look, we all know Bob Arum screwed up Andy Ruiz's career, and luckily AJ and Ruiz happened, because now we have Ruiz as a star. Does that happen without Al Heyman? Maybe not. Does Ruiz start getting fights with Al Heyman? Probably not. And Ruiz has been nothing but complimentary of Al Heyman, so to talk down on Al Heyman in this scenario, I think is ridiculous, A. B, to make this the topic of conversation when we're talking about Ruiz just having this upward trend as a person, I think is missing the forest, looking at the trees, right? Isn't that the saying? I know I'm messing that up.
Did you mean to say like the Up kind of comment?
What do you mean?
Like Ruiz looks like the kid from Up. Was that like?
I didn't say that. I
the
said
upward moment.
Upward trend. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's the kid from Up.
Moving on.
It's a big moment for Ruiz, man.
Moving on. You want to be immature? We're cool. Jamal James versus Antonio DeMarco. Oh, Rob, you want to talk?
Yeah.
Or do you want to make jokes?
No. Oh God.
We can't make jokes about Andrew Ruiz.
I mean, Fu, honestly, like we're talking about this guy having no money a year ago, wanting to quit the sport, and you want to get into a fucking dick measuring contest about Al Heyman and Bob Arum. Really? Is that really the topic of conversation we want to have right now?
Don't the majority of boxers have no money until they hit it big on like one of these fights? I mean, come on. It's not a sport where everybody's just cashing in.
What are you talking about? There's tons of guys that when they fight every other month, they make careers out of it. There's regional fighters that make careers out of it. What are you talking about? Andy Ruiz didn't fight for, a year and a half, bro? Like, what are you talking about here? Yes, if fighters fight, they make money, regardless of them being at the top or not. If you fight, you make money, you make a living. He wasn't fighting. Whose fault was that?
Bob Arum.
Cool.
I said that.
Cool. Because in your rant about Al Heyman, you seem to blame Al Heyman there or discredit everything either he has done and then you want to credit Eddie Hearn for Ruiz's success. Guys, Ruiz is the one that is successful. Ruiz is. Andy. Yes. Not Al, not Bob, not Eddie.
Matt's
Andy
so
Ruiz
mad.
is. We're talking about Andy here, okay? Let's uplift this guy because a year ago, he was about to leave this sport. I just, again, we can have immature discussions at points, but this just doesn't seem like the time. This doesn't seem like the topic.
Okay, Matt. I'm sorry. I didn't know this meant so much to you. I am very happy that Ruiz won this fight. I said it when we did the live fight chat. I said it was good for the division. Go ahead, Robbie.
I just want to say...
Be more mature than me, please.
Oh, well, I'll have to delete what I was going to say. But shame on Snickers at the moment that seem to be just using him for free publicity, just sending him fucking chocolate bars and a belt with Snickers on it, and not actually
sponsoring him.
And not actually putting him on the posters and the fucking...
This is not the time for jokes, Robbie.
I don't think this is a joke.
No, it's not. It's just foo. Oh dear. But yeah, no. Good luck to him. I was gonna go with it. Didn't look like he was had no money. But you know, like I say, he's done great things for himself. Foo. I can see you laughing in my little picture. But no, look what he's done. He's I think he's very appreciative to Al Heyman because he got him away from Bob Arum. He paid his contract up and then moved over. Al got him a fight. But Andy Ruiz is the one that DM'd Eddie Hearn and said, "Give me the fight with Joshua. I'll give you a good fight. I'll come and shock the world. I'll beat Joshua." And fuck, he went and done it. So, you know, good on him. And he's going to make a hell of a lot more in the rematch.
You guys done? Phil?
Oh,
yeah, you got the giggles out. There's other podcasts there's other podcasts that are like really immature. If you want to go to those podcasts.
Oh, come on!
I tried to get on one with that free fights. I couldn't get on there though. He wasn't having me.
Good. No, that's a great deep cut. You know what's hilarious? That we guaranteed have listeners that have no idea what you're talking about.
I know. Yeah.
R.I.P.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll be more mature on the next fight we talk about. I got this.
No, Phil, you know what I mean. Honestly, like I know you're trying to be like condescending to me right now and like push off like that I'm upset. You can if you want to discredit that I'm upset. You can if you want, but there are topics that we can be mature about, and there's topics that we can be immature and make jokes about. There are moments that when we will talk about Ruiz, that we can make the up jokes. But talking about him almost quitting boxing a year ago and being poor, out of money, doesn't seem like the topic to make those jokes and to make a piss fight out of Al Heyman, Bob Arum, and such.
You're right. You're right. I should have not got drawn into the chat, but all the Al Heyman worship in the chat is just kind of like the Eddie worship where I just got to push back against some
you discredited the Al Heyman worship with Eddie Hearn worship. Do you understand?
Of course, because the whole chat was the Al Heyman worship.
But you didn't discredit it with the truth. You discredit it with other agenda bullshit. Eddie Hearn. It was Eddie Hearn that made Eddie Ruiz successful. Like, stop, man. Like, let's just move on.
No, actually, I said he should think
Jamal James, Antonio DeMarco, headlining FS1. Robert Helenius, also Jared Washington on, I think, the co-main event of that. Jamal James is one of those guys where he is ready for, let's say, like a Sean Porter fight or an Earl Spence fight. Like, he's beaten enough names in the top 20 of the division. But I feel like the schedule is just not in his favor right now. You know, like Sean Porter, Spence is next. Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman is next. Danny Garcia, Mike Garcia is the fight they want. Jamal James, being a great prospect, I think has rebounded fantastic from his loss. Seems sort of lost in the shuffle. This fight just seems like a stay busy fight. Guys, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think Jamal James was kind of hyped on early. Then I don't know. He felt like he just sort of tread water for a little while and didn't really sort of happen for him. But no, you know, coming back with another fight, and yeah, so hope he looks good, and his career can sort of kick on a little bit and live up to the promise. Is my opinion.
Phil?
I just think welterweight it's tough right now because, like you said, all the big names are tied up. So, I mean, there's going to be hard to shine in that weight class for a lot of people for probably the next year and a half or so, you know, before anyone gets a real shot. That's not one of those big names.
You're not psyched for Helenius Washington? That fight doesn't get your bones going, man?
Does it get yours?
No, God, no. Fuck no.
Right, okay.
Fuck no, man. That fight seems like two very tall heavyweights that are very slow, that aren't active, trying to have a jab battle. That's exactly what we're going to watch for 10 rounds. Right?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But, you know.
Cool.
It's
cool,
what it is.
Everyone's afraid to talk right now, it seems like. Whatever.
Well, I was going to say, but, you know, they've got to make some money.
Oh, they do. They do. And unfortunately, we have to not pay to watch it, but metaphorically pay to watch it. Jason Quigley, a guy that has been a top prospect, but really has had some really disappointing fights. Even though he's undefeated still, I think has showed a certain level, a certain ceiling of his ability. Fighting Terriana Johnson for a Golden Boy fight night. I could care less about this card, I'll be honest. And Jason Quigley is one of those prospects that's no longer a prospect and just a perennial top, in this division, honestly, top 20 guy. But that's only because middleweight is extremely top heavy. Are we going to be watching this on DAZN? Or actually, I think this one's not even on DAZN, or is it? There's one DAZN. There's one Golden Boy DAZN card coming up that's not actually on DAZN. It's on Facebook.
I think it might be this or something.
I forget, but it's still branded as a DAZN card.
Will it be on the DAZN YouTube feed as well? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's
very strange.
Golden Boy's going to go. It's Oscar De La Hoya promoting. It's going to be a clusterfuck. You know that.
Yeah. At least it's not an MMA one. But Quigley obviously over with Adam Booth over here now, and Mick Conlon and all that. So I'll sort of keep an eye on it and see how he goes. Bit of interest.
I remember Jason Quigley was a top prospect. Good times. One of my first interviews too. And also,
really?
I want to say it was like the third event I got credentialed for was the Glenn Tapia fight. Me and Santiago got credentialed for that one. Shout out to Santiago. We went out to the middle of the desert in like Palm Springs and saw that fight. It was horrendous. And we saw Marisa Herrera get drunk at the bar in like leather pants. And like the leather pants from like 1980s, like those leather pants, or like maybe early 90s. It was bad. It was a rough night in the desert. Moving on though, let's go to callers. I think Santiago.
Are we not going to talk about Justin Bieber and Tom Cruise?
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
No. Do we have to? Do you want to? See, Fu, this is a topic where you can make jokes on, okay? Is Tom Cruise, 5'5" guy, fighting Justin Bieber, who's also probably 5'5". And also both guys we know probably can't fight, right? Like Tom Cruise is good at doing really fast running with his hands straight.
He's like a decent wrestler, wasn't he?
Who? Cruise?
Yeah.
No way. Like an actual like high school wrestler? Like was he?
Yeah, apparently. Someone said, come on, Bieber, he's 55. And someone said, but he's like 26 in Scientology years.
That was fun. I saw that joke too. That was great.
Conor McGregor's come out and said he wants to promote the fight. And McGregor has called out Mark Wahlberg to fight him on the same card. You can't write this shit, I'll tell you.
But yeah, did you see Bieber walk that back? Like Bieber has come out now. And it's like, I was joking.
Oh, pointless.
Yeah.
Because there's so many I think this might be Mission Impossible for Bieber. And then, this is a risky business. And trying to crowbar as many Tom Cruise film titles into the comment section as possible.
Anonymous, I'm stealing that joke from the chat. Fu, don't worry, man. Tom Cruise isn't a PBC fighter. You can make jokes about him.
I was just going to say, how are you going to walk back a tweet where you call a guy a pussy?
Did you really call him a pussy?
You can't really do that, right? He's like, if you don't take this fight, you're a pussy. Yo, Dana White, make this fight or something.
Well,
you can't walk that back.
Let's be honest. Justin Bieber epitomizes what is worse with millennials. So him thinking that he can call another guy pussy online in the public domain and would just walk it back the next day like, LOL.
Lol.
Lol. Sorry, Tommy. It's a joke. Yeah, I think Justin Bieber would do that. Absolutely. Do I think he understands that maybe Tom Cruise, who is probably clinically crazy, might like smile and stab him with like a cult? No, I don't think Justin Bieber's aware of that. But again, like Bieber's also in like a religious cult right now, so who knows?
But very quick, that was 3 minutes that I didn't think was going to happen. After I made a joke, are we not talking about it?
Hey, I'll make jokes about Justin Bieber and Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise specifically any day of the week. That guy's hilarious to make fun of. Callers. Again, Blog Talk's not working. Apologies. Skype. Nick's Combat Radio. Again, sorry. Went out to Gary, though, because don't worry, man. Gary's going to get his call in, guys. Gary, in Dallas.
What's going on, Matt?
What's up, man?
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I wanted to correct you first. You said Deontay Wilder was a champion. He's a title holder. Tyson Fury is the heavyweight champion of the world. Wilder just has a belt. There's a big difference.
Same page, Gary. Same page.
And you said Fury hadn't beat anyone since his comeback. You forgot to mention that he beat Deontay Wilder.
He didn't, though.
Let me ask you this, and all three of you guys answer this question, and give your honest answer. Did Whitaker beat Chavez?
Yeah.
Rob? Who?
Yes.
In my opinion, yeah.
So even though it was a draw, looking back at it, historically, we all know Whitaker won the fight, right? We don't really call it a draw. We say Whitaker beat Chavez. Now, this wasn't as bad as that decision, but Fury clearly won the fight, right? It's the same thing as in
No.
Yes.
See, this is where we get into it, Gary, because I scored it a draw. I still do.
All right. I mean,
if I scored a draw, Gary, I cannot say, in my opinion, I think Tyson Fury won the fight. I cannot say that. Now, if you want me to say, or if you want me to make a case or talk about what the consensus for the community is, yeah, the consensus is that Fury won. But I don't have that opinion.
Have you? I'm guessing at some point you've gone back and watched the fight, right?
Yeah.
And you still think
Several
a draw's that's still your scorecard?
Yeah.
Okay. That's like, again, most people think Canelo and Jacobs. Canelo won 7 or 8 rounds at least.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at it, I thought Canelo won, but when I scored it round by round, I had it 6-6. That's just the way my scorecard had. Now, if I didn't score it and you said who got the better of that fight, I would have said Canelo all day. But so sometimes you gotta, yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying. Could I see people scoring for Tyson? Of course I do. But I had it a draw, so it is what it is. But I'm also a guy that has, historically speaking, weird scorecards. Like I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm the best at scoring fights, because there's been numerous fights where I've had obviously the minority opinion. I thought Ward beat Kovalev in their first fight. I thought Canelo beat Triple G in the first fight. I thought Frampton, though this one I will admit I was heavily drunk. I thought Frampton beat Leo Santa Cruz in the second fight. That was a huge Frampton mark back then. What's some other ones? I've scored weird fights before, like weird scorecards. So like I'm used to being the minority. Like I understand the consensus. Probably historically speaking, you might be right, Gary. In my opinion, though, I thought Fury and Wilder was a draw.
The first 2 fights you mentioned there, I had Ward over Kovalev, the same score the judges had, 114, 113 Ward. And then what was the second fight you said?
Shit. No, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, Canelo. I had Canelo 116, 112 over Triple G in the first fight.
Damn.
I scored the first fight. So I agree with you on both of those fights.
Another one, Canelo Laura. I thought Canelo won that fight, clear 7-5. I know a lot of people, probably most people, thought Laura won that fight.
Yeah, I had that 9-3 Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are, like we were talking about Algieri with Provodnikov, and like you had it wide for Algieri and I had it wide for Provodnikov. There's just some fights where people just see different fights, like Mosley De La Hoya too. You talk to half the people and they think Mosley won it huge, won it wide, won 8-9 rounds. You talk to the other half of the people, everyone they think De La Hoya won 9 rounds. It's like no one agrees on that fight. From what I've seen, outside of you, really only the Wilder fanboys scored that fight a draw or for Wilder. I'm not accusing you of being Wilder. That was your scorecard.
I understand.
And I get that, right? But like name redacted from the name redacted show, and his name redacted partner swear that Wilder won that fight and he won 7 rounds.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. He didn't win 7 rounds.
Right. He only needed to win 5 for the draw, right? Because he got 2 knockdowns. But that was your scorecard. Look, don't. That's. I had Mares beating Santa Cruz in both fights on my scorecard.
Really?
Right, so yeah, both times.
You know what's funny? JP from Long Beach, who calls in occasionally, right? He had Miguel Cotto beating Canelo, and that to me to this day is just wild.
Yeah, he didn't win, but the judges had like 119, 109. It wasn't 119, 109. Canelo won that fight. He probably won it 8-4. He definitely won at least 7 rounds. He definitely won. But like the judges were off too.
And Gary, we've talked about this before more in depth, but like that's just the nature of our subjective scoring system, man. Like we don't have 1s, 2s, and 3s and a point system that really tabulates how to score a round. It's a subjective criteria-based system that's a prioritized criteria-based system. And some states have different orders of that criteria. Some states have different criteria completely. Some countries do. Like it's just a weird case of like scoring subjective. When you get really close, competitive 12-round title fights, I'm never going to be the really screaming robbery or this guy won and got the decision wrong. Like, this is not me. You know that.
I absolutely agree. Then, I totally lost my train of thought. I had something good too. Fury. Mm-hmm. Matt, I know you don't have Fury at number 1 now.
Yes.
But let's say Fury stops Schwartz. Would you put him at number 1 after stopping Schwartz?
No, God, no.
Okay.
No.
Where did you have him? You had him at 2 or 3?
Go to mixedcombatradio.com/rankings.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just answer this question, for fuck's sake.
And I'm pretty sure, Gary, on the YouTube show, I've put in, I believe now, the link is there. If it's not there, I'll put it there, guys. But it's mixedcombatradio.com. And there's a ranking tab right there. You can look at my rankings, because it is just my rankings, honestly, for every division in the sport, the top 15.
But you did 15 in every division?
Yep.
Like even like 105?
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
It was rough. It was rough, man. It was rough. I'll be honest.
Gary, I'm going to tell you, you're already going to be upset because I don't think Fettuccine's ranked in there.
Yeah.
At 147?
Yeah, rigatoni is not ranked, man. I'm sorry.
Well, you have Keith Thurman ahead of him? Do you have Keith Thurman on your list?
Yes, of course. I think he's number 3.
I told you, Gary.
Yeah,
Thurman 3. I'm not gonna like that. I'm not gonna like that list.
Hey, but Brandon Figueroa, top 10.
Do you have Omar Figueroa as a top 15 welterweight?
Yes, I think he's on my top 15. Yes.
Number 11. He's got Omar at number 11. He's got Jamal James above him.
That should make sense, though. I think Jamal James would beat him.
He looked real bad. I was happy he just had him in the top 15. Rob, did you see Figueroa fight John Molina? It was not good.
But, Gary, I'll be honest. I totally spaced on Virgil Ortiz, so he is not in the top 15.
I can live with that because he beat Herrera, but outside of that, his last fight before that, he fought a featherweight.
Nah, he could slip in. He could slip in, honestly.
He could be in the top 15. But, I mean, if you didn't put him in there yet, that's understandable, too.
Gary, Matt has got Omar Figueroa 2 places above Adrian Broner in the welterweight division.
Ooh.
Yeah, Broner in the top 15? What do you have at 15?
Dude, look at the top 15 in the welterweight division. Tell me Broner doesn't slip in there.
It's tough because we love to rip on Broner.
But he's still like a top 15 guy.
Yeah.
What are you making that face for, Rob?
Huh?
You made a face like, oh, top 15.
I had an itch.
Oh, yeah, sure. Gary, back to you.
We're gonna get that Adrian Broner Andre Berto fight this year. That's definitely gonna happen.
I think they're right next to each other on my rankings. So yeah,
that needs to get made.
Yeah, we need to find out who is the number 12.
Not the Wilder Ortiz pay-per-view, but the Spence Porter pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a date for that yet?
No.
Did Errol Spence sign the document yet? Or
I mean, it depends who you ask.
Okay.
Kenny says no. Spence hasn't signed it yet.
Kenny says no. I think there's some other people within PBC that have said yes. I think
that's really who matters. If PBC and Fox have a signed contract. It doesn't matter what Kenny Porter says, right?
But I don't know if they've said signed contract though.
Tim Smith said it's moving along nicely, and it's the foot in the fall, the or autumn for my English people.
Gary, you have some background noise there. I don't know what that was. I muted you just for a second. I'm gonna come right back to you. But yeah, there's no date. What did you say? Because it was hard to hear what you said.
Tim Smith said it's all moving along nicely regarding that fight, and it's gonna look like it's gonna be in the fall, like I don't know when, like October or something like that.
Gary, back to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jesse Hart to retire Barrera. I wanted to get that prediction into him. I like Barrera too, but I think Hart's always like just not gotten that big win that he needs. I think he gets it today, and then he'd probably be in line for a title shot at 75, right?
Damn it, Gary, you're picking my pick. Fuck.
It's a good fight though. I could see Barrera winning, but I think Hart gets it done.
Yo, if me and Gary get this one right, I can't make fun of the Terry Flanagan pick anymore, guys. I can't.
He's due one. He is due one.
Are most people picking Barrera?
Rob is, but I don't know if most people are. I saw some people in the chat picking Hart. It seems like our chat is picking Hart, so I think we're in good company.
And then what fights? What are the fights on the zone tournament, the cruiserweight tournament?
Glowacki versus Brias, and then Dorticos versus Tabiti.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I take Brias, obviously.
Yep.
The other one's good. Tabiti's too skilled for him, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna take. He could get knocked out too.
Mm-hmm. But Tabiti's one of those guys, like Rob said about Galahad. Tabiti's one of those guys that fights at the level of his opposition all the time. Dorticos might bring the elite guy out of Tabiti that I've seen in the gym. I've seen the guy spar. Like the guy is extremely talented.
So who are you picking, Gary?
I'm going to take Tabiti, and I think he's going to get floored, and I think he's going to get back up, and he's going to win a decision. Real close decision. Maybe even a controversial decision. I think it's going to be a really good fight. And then the last question I had was the Maloney.
Galahad Warrington.
Oh, you think it's going to be close? I'm not that high on Galahad. I mean, he's probably a top 10 featherweight, but he's probably like 9 or 10.
Yep,
I think Warrington wins it wide. I'm with Fu. Like, Warrington's probably the best guy at 126. I know he doesn't have the best resume, right? That's Santa Cruz. But, like, if Warrington fought anyone else in that division, I'd pick Warrington.
You know what's been funny, Gary? I've gone back a lot since like we've talked about Warrington. And I'm gonna meet you again just because of the background, but I'll come back to you, Gary. Don't worry. I don't think there's as much a discrepancy in talent in terms of their resume when it comes to Warrington and Leo Santa Cruz. Like, I know I have Leo in my number one, but I feel like that's just me making just the generic pick, honestly. But Warrington has Selby and Frampton on his resume. I'm trying to remember who else he has on his resume. And Leo has Frampton, obviously a win, but also a loss to Frampton. And the wins against Abner Mares. And you can make a legit argument that Lee Selby is a better fighter than Abner Mares. You can make that argument. And even though like Warrington caught Frampton at the tail end of his career in a sense, it's still a good Frampton. It's still Frampton that beat Nonito Donaire dominantly. The same Donaire that's gone down to 118 and done some decent work there. So, I don't know. I think Warrington has a very strong resume, and his run through 2018, I think, puts him on par with Leo Santa Cruz, honestly speaking. But, Gary, I'll go back to you.
I'm sitting outside, so there's like wind coming by. So you
right.
can feel free to mute me or hang up on me or whatever. My last question was the Australian card, the the Maloney brothers.
Yes.
What time? That's on the ESPN app?
Yes.
What time do I have to wake up to watch that?
Ooh. Gary, I don't know, but I follow you on Twitter. I'll DM you with some of the info.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Gary's on Twitter?
Yeah, you don't know that? He doesn't tweet that much.
No, I'm not really an active tweeter.
Yeah, but I'll send you his @ Rob so you can, I don't know, do whatever you want to do with that mischievous smile Yeah, Vaughn. Creepy. Gary, anything else? Or was that
That's it.
Thank you, Gary, for the call. Always appreciate it. Guys, that's going to be it for the show. Fu, you okay, man?
Yeah, bro, I'm good. I was looking at this picture of 4 fighters, every belt, and they didn't add Amanda Nunes.
I saw that. Fu, are we still friends? Do we need a hug?
Assholes.
Do we need a hug?
Bro, I'm good.
Do we need to kiss and make up?
I just won't make fun of Andy Ruiz anymore.
Don't make fun of PBC fighters. You should know this by now, okay? Like, if it's Wilder, if it's Heyman, it's off limits, okay?
Leave that to me.
I would just sit on the fence more.
I'll just sit on the fence more. That was a good one.
Be you. Just be you.
Just be you, Fu.
Well, me is never serious, really, so
that's fine.
Kind of hard.
Fu, you act like you're not that serious, but you're a serious guy most of the time, actually, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess I just don't get too...
You know what it is? Your voice, it's not that you're monotone, because you're not monotone, but, like, you don't, like, audibly get excited. Or, like, really, like, change your pitch that much.
No, I'm just a pretty steady person. I don't get too hyped about anything or too sad about anything. So, like, until Lopez beats Loma, and then I'll cry.
Yo, man, that contract signed, man. You worried? You're worried? Do you think it's a disgrace to Loma and to boxing the way Gary does?
Not at all. I think that it just proves that Lomachenko will fight anyone, and if you talk shit about him, he's going to want to put you down in the ring. So I think a lot of guys would duck Lopez, especially without him having a belt, but Loma's not that guy. He's going to fight everyone.
But he's going to fight him if he's got a belt. That's the whole plan.
I think he'd fight him without a belt, honestly.
I don't.
Yeah. I just think that if you talk too much shit about Loma, he takes it as, like, you know, a point of pride to get in the ring and prove that he's better than you.
It's all irrelevant.
I love when Rob wants to shit on Food's fighters because, like, Rob gets really mean about it in a way. Like, he doesn't get it with me. He's like, nah, fuck that. Like, Loma's trash. That's basically what he said there, like, the subtext.
No way did I say Loma's trash.
The subtext of that was, no, fuck that.
Not as good as Luke Campbell.
You were mad aggressive there, Rob.
Passive.
I'm a Luke Campbell stan too, so
you're good. Yeah, you're all good.
Anyways, guys, find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Go to mixedcombatradio.com, patreon.com/mixedcombatradio. Rob,
follow me Instagram and Twitter, UK Rob, MCR. Yeah, good show. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Clearly, the super chat button must have a malfunction at the moment. I don't know quite what's going on. We'll look into that. Obviously, the tech guys will check that out.
The IT department.
Yeah, get on that, please. Hang on.
It's just Harrison on the iPad trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you know, the guys out back and checking that out as we speak. So maybe, you know, we'll try it out next show. But yeah, check out the obviously the website, mixedcombatradio.com. Go check out Matt's ridiculous rankings. Well, there's only a few. It's all good.
There's one that you don't like, and because it's Wilder.
It's not because it's Wilder. It's because it isn't Fury.
Same thing. Tomato, tomato.
But yeah, so yeah, it's been a good week. You know, the website's done. We've been monetized. All that good stuff. So onwards and upwards. Share the show, tell a friend, all that good stuff. 5-star reviews on iTunes. I don't know if you can do anything on Spotify. I'm not sure how that works, but all right, just listen to it there. I don't know if
share it. Just share the show.
Share it.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Go share on your Facebook groups with your grandma, whatever. Spread the sexy. Okay, that is MCR.
You could tweet like Coppinger and say sources.
This is the best podcast for boxing.
Sources: Wilder Ortiz 2 November at Mixed Combat Radio via BBC podcast. But just give us put us in block capitals, maybe something like that. But leave a comment. Tell us in the comment section. I know there's a select few that like to come in the comment section, but more comments the better. and thumbs up.
And also, again, patreon.com/mixedcombat radio. $1 a month, Rob. That's what, $12 a year?
Most years, yeah.
Yeah, most years, right?
Except for leap years.
But anyways, so much extra content. We did a Patreon show yesterday, trending now this Friday, where I think me and Fu won't be so antsy towards each other because he made fun of my PBC fighters. How dare he? But again, patreon.com/mixedcombat radio. Fu,
what is that 13th month? What is they called?
I fucking hate you guys.
Just Fugatti MCR all platforms. I'll see you guys there. Good show, guys.
Peace.
A lot of fun. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
What fights are we going to have in whenever September? What is that fucking 13th month? I've never heard it.
Fuck off.
You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?